There was a small period of time when I was a big fan of King Kong back in 1976. That's when the remake came out starring Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges. As a kid, I just thought it was so cool how they replaced the Empire State Building with the World Trade Center. And seeing Kong jump from tower to tower was just so dope to me. Then, moving on, fast forwarding, between Peter Jackson's slog of a movie and then you get into the Planet of the Apes, another monkey franchise that was remade by Tim Burton, and now this new, completely soulless reboot. I wasn't feeling any monkey movies. Then Kong Skull Island happened. I happened to be in Hawaii last June, where a lot of this was shot, and I got to see some of the props that were being used in the film while on a movie safari tour. At the time, I thought, who cares? It's King Kong. I don't care. The movie comes out, and I decide, let me go see this thing just so I can review it. I wasn't looking forward to it at all. I couldn't have been more wrong. This movie is a cross between Platoon, Jurassic Park, and The Incredible Hulk. It takes place in the 70s at the end of the Vietnam War, and at the start, it feels like a parody of a war movie. Then it veers into Jurassic Park territory as military helicopters embark on an expedition to Skull Island. Samuel L. Jackson even delivers a line that's a clear homage to his character in the original Jurassic Park. And soon as they arrive at the island, and I mean that literally, all hell breaks loose as they come face to face with a monster who's not exactly green, but he's very furry. And oh yeah, he's 100 feet tall.
Fox 8 is down, Fox 4 is down. Respond, Fox 3.
Is that a monkey?
What the hell is that? Somebody talk to me, man. Turn right heading 250. Contact approach.
Fox leader to Fox group. On the perimeter. Ready gunner position.
Kill that thing. Let's take it out.
Fox leader to Fox group. Fire and kill!
The movie is directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts, whom I've never heard before, but after seeing this, I need to know more about this guy. He seems to be a student of Tarantino, Scorsese, and Sam Raimi because his camera is exhilarating. Crash zooms, close-ups, slow-mo, characters that look vengefully through lakes of fire, fire reflecting in the eyes of madmen. It's just fun to watch this guy's visuals. The score is a collection of music you've heard in just about every modern war film you've ever seen. The music is rife with cliches, but since this movie borders on parody, the music works perfectly. You kind of roll your eyes and you accept it because, hey, they are trying to kind of skewer, in a sense, all the movies that I've seen prior to this, where one of the songs that they use is Time, which I've heard in just about every war movie I've ever seen, but it works so good here. Shots of a deep orange sun battered by heat waves are reminiscent of Apocalypse Now. Brie Larson plays a war photojournalist. Her name is Mason Weaver, and her black and white photos add to the feel of a 1970s war movie. The creatures in this movie harken back to the Jurassic Park franchise, and I felt the same way watching this as I did when I first saw Jurassic Park. That CGI just took a huge leap forward because the creatures look unbelievably real in this movie. There's a scene with an oversized water buffalo, I guess, and I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, holy shit. The level of detail in this effect is just ridiculous. There are wonderfully cheesy performances by Tom Hiddleston and John Goodman. Shea Whigham, who I know from Boardwalk Empire, he just looks like he's been in a war. He's great. Corey Hawkins of Straight Outta Compton and 24 Legacy is good as a cool but intense version of Urkel. But for balls out cheesiness and over the top is none other than Samuel L. Jackson.
What the hell is this place?
This is what's left of Kong's parents.
I've taken enough photos of mass graves to recognize one.
The crash site's just on the other side of this valley. We'll cross through and make it to the highest point west.
This place is a real no-no, sir.
We need to be going to the north side right now.
And you welcome to do that, my man. By yourself. I'm not leaving Jack out there. Now, who's with me?
We can make it.
You're mighty right we can make it. Now, stay sharp. Keep an eye out.
I've only been here 28 years. What do I know?
As Lieutenant Colonel Packard, he's that dude who loves the smell of napalm in the morning. He makes the trip to Skull Island because he's itching to get some payback for cutting and running from the Vietnam War. So he's not completely, you look at this guy and you're like, that's just trouble waiting to happen. It's vintage Sam Jackson. Now, the one performance which was praised by other critics, but I found annoying, was John C. Reilly, who's nothing more than a plot device along the lines of the character that Randy Quaid played in the original Independence Day, you know, that old guy. One critic claimed he stole every scene he was in. I was hoping he would die as the movie went along. There are some surprisingly gory moments, but nothing too intense. One thing that shocked me is how nonchalantly the screenplay was willing to just kill off characters. I mean, people that are established by the middle act, they just die out of nowhere in this movie. Remember how Sam Jackson died in Deep Blue Sea? Well, one minor character, it's not Sam Jackson, so that's not a spoiler. One minor character has an encounter along those same lines, and it's kind of brutal and just as sudden. And again, that's not a spoiler, by the way. The character I'm talking about, you'll be cheering once it happens. Now, the only issues I had with the movie is that somewhere in the second act, the middle act, the camera becomes a little more tame, shots are more traditional. And that's not really a bad thing. It's just after the invigorating action that I saw early on, I wish the director would have maintained that energy. Also, the design of the lizard creatures which appear in the middle act, I thought they looked kind of silly. And I really didn't buy that they were able to move so fast on only 2 legs. But then, of course, using that logic, a 100-foot tall muscular monkey wouldn't be able to stand up on 2 feet without crushing its legs. That's neither here nor there. The point is, this is a surprisingly fun movie, exhilarating filmmaking, old-time B-movie filmmaking, and I highly recommend it. 3.5 out of 5 reels. By the way, I don't recall seeing or hearing any press about this movie that indicated it was shot in 3D, so I assume it was a 3D conversion. But the 3D is great. Go see it in 3D. And that's the martini. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you agreed or even if you disagreed, please leave your comments below. But most of all, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, RealQStorm.com. Check out some of my older movie reviews, my product reviews, my political videos, and let me know what you think. RealQStorm.com.